Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United's podcast. And today we're going to be reviewing the game between Manchester United and Leeds. Manchester United played out an interesting draw between, as in a preseason game. And this is kind of like the penultimate preseason game before the season starts. And we got a chance to see a couple of things, which we're going to talk about. So now this video is going to just, go through some of the things that we saw, as well as all things that, we expected to see versus the stats, as well as who performed well and all of that. Now, it was a 1-1 draw in what they call the Boyle Sports Cup, and basically just a friendly match, a friendly game that needed a win, and obviously it went on to penalties. Now, we're going to kind of look at some of the things that we noticed in the game and all of that. We'll run through the game. First and foremost, we're going to run through some, like a general overview of what happened in the game, and then we will now talk about the rest of the stuff. Now, Manchester United and Leeds had to be split by penalties in this preseason clash, with Noussair Mazraoui the difference maker in the penalty. Now, Manchester United also Manchester extended their unbeaten run in preseason in 4 matches after beating rivals Leeds and 5-4 on penalties. Following the 1-1 draw in Dublin. Now, Zirkzee saw his goal cancelled out by Brenden Aaronson, and with nothing to split the two sides at a packed-out Croke Park, Noussair Mazraoui, tucked away the winning penalty. Now, the truth is, the game happened in a way where we expected a lineup of the parental line, the parental line we gave in the match preview. So I expected that, maybe like the same lineup as the previous game, so we can actually, get a sense of what the team is like and how we can actually build momentum from there and all of that. But it wasn't to be. That was not what happened. And so what actually went on was St. Lomond started in net, and I predicted that if Demotme doesn't get a start, then St. Lomond should get a start. So St. Lomon's got a start. And then you had Lanier and Aiden Heaven in centre back, which is kind of like the centre back pairing of the future. And then you had Hayamas play out in the left back spot. Diogo Dalot played in the right back spot. And then you had Tyler Fletcher and Andre Santos in the mid. And then Joshua Zirkzee, Patrick Dogu, and Ahmad playing up in the 3 up front, as well as Bryan Mbeumo. And I was trying to see what Michael Carrick was trying to build, which leads me to, we'll talk about some of the things we learned in another video, but it led me to understand that Michael Carrick is trying to build a team that is more likely to be more dangerous when it comes to approaching games, depending on how we line up. Now, if you want to look at how we lined up in that game, you would see that we most likely started with Zirkzee and Mbeumo, with Zirkzee being the 10 and dropping deep to receive the ball. But we also had times when Mbeumo dropped deep to receive the ball, right? How the goal came about is because Mbeumo dropped deep to receive the ball and did a combination between him and Patrick Dogu. So that was an aspect of the game that I saw, and I was like, okay, my character is trying to build something that would be more versatile depending on who we're playing, and something that would mean that everybody can play everywhere across the front 4. You had Mbeumo playing on the left and on the right. You had Zirkzee playing down the middle, coming to the mid to receive the ball, coming deep to receive the ball. You had you had Ahmad doing the same, playing on the left and the right, coming deep to receive the ball as well. There was time when we had to play out from the back, and we had players like Ahmad coming deep, so dragging the players. First and foremost, Zirkzee did the dragging and changed direction. Ahmad came, dragged players, received the ball, and then he didn't. Then they gave it to Andre Santos, who switched it to the other side. Just kind of like the dynamism that I was noticing, and it was good to see. Basically, it was good to see that we're trying out things and it's working. Yes, quite all right. It's preseason, but I really wanted to see more. You might say, oh, aren't you satisfied? I think I am, but I want to see more in the sense that I want it to be more consistent than just the regular, football that we see every time, where the team plays a certain way and the team does this and does that and everything in between. I just wanted to see more. And, well, I was particularly impressed by some players and all of that. So we will look at that. So first and foremost, no, not first and foremost. Furthermore, when you look at certain things that happened within the game, you tend to understand that there are certain players that are way ahead when it comes to preseason preparation. Now, I was particularly surprised, and pleasantly so, that Tyler Fletcher started in midfield with Andre Santos. And I'm like, okay, is he more prepared for the first team? Considering the maturity he showed, he reminded me of McTominay. Apparently, he was even wearing the number 9, the 39 shirt. So he reminded me of McTominay. He reminded me that, you know, he's a good talent and has a high ceiling and can actually play in that deeper role and also in the hybrid role. So I was particularly impressed with that. Andre Santos was marshalling the defense. That one, it's now becoming a common theme that Andre Santos is doing Andre Santos things. Nobody is actually like coming close to him when it comes to performance in preseason, doing just the absolute basic and making it look absolutely simple. Can drive the ball forward, can call others into play, can pass the ball out, can muscle people out and everything. So he's seemingly becoming the mainstay, especially when it comes to being a defensive midfielder or a hybrid midfielder in this team. He quickly gets the ball and releases the ball, doesn't dilly-dally on the ball, doesn't play around with things and all of that. And I'm particularly impressed by that from Andre Santos. So that midfield pivot of Andre Santos and Tyler Fletcher was quite impressive to see. Then you have Leniero and Aiden Heaven forming a good partnership as well, as they've always done all season. I was pleasantly impressed by that. And then obviously Jogodalo is coming back from preseason, coming back and just joining the squad. Played his first game last game, and then this will be his second game. Others are way ahead. Leniero, absolutely amazing performance. Want to see more as well, as I mentioned. Solomons, same. Just come back from preseason, got subbed off in the 61st minute. In Heaven, got subbed off in the 46th minute, that's in the second half, beginning of second half for Danny Amar, who is another player that I liked when I saw how he performed and he never put a foot wrong. Just a very diminutive Harry Maguire there, left-footed guy and all of that. Apart from that, man of the match for me was Zirkzee, was keeping things ticking in that his newfound number 10 role. I've seen a lot of content creators out there who said that Zirkzee should be tried in number 10 role. But with what Michael Carrick is trying to do, I don't think it's just the number 10 role. I think he's trying to build a team that all players can play in the 10. You know, Ahmad started out as a 10. Mbeumo can play in the 10. So you have Mbeumo, you have Ahmad, you have Zirkzee, and they can all drop deep and one person goes high. Same thing with Patrick Dogu, who came deep and went high, and he played in the 10 under Ruben Amorim and all of that. So it was good to see some of them. Now you look at the subs. Tobokolia also performed really well for the second half that he played. Tynan Thompson, I'm yet to see something interesting about him, because immediately he came on, my eyes were on him. I was like, okay, I wanted to see what he can do. You also had who's that? You also had Noussair Mazraoui. Yeah, was okay. Came on in the 60th minute, did okay. Bruno Fernandes, same thing. Came on the 60th minute, did okay. Wanted more. Preseason, this is second preseason game. You also had Me as well. Came on the 61st minute, did okay. Made that wonderful save in the second half. Let's not forget Solomons in the first half, making a save again with his right foot and all of that. You also had Luke Shaw coming on in the 61st minute and doing okay, basically trying to manage the minutes before the season starts so that we can actually have a healthy squad. That's what I think Michael Carrick is trying to do. Jack Fletcher, number 38, played again on the right side. And he, like I said, he gave me a sense of understanding of what Michael Carrick is also trying to do, in the sense that you can play a 4-3-3 and still play a 4-2-3-1 and play a 4-2-4 and play a 4-1-4-1. All of this can happen depending on the player that you are having in your squad. So these are the things that I noticed. You also had a Yuri Tillemans playing well as well on the day. Was okay making that pass. Mateusz Cunha, first game back, I'm still worried. Not worried that he cannot play, worried that he's rusty, and I can understand the rustiness. And the fact that he always wants to try to take things upon himself instead of bringing others into play. And he played in that same number 10 striker role. That means we have so many number 10s in this squad and all of that. So, yeah, he can play in the striker role, and that is what it means when Michael Carrick is trying to build that team that he's trying to build. And that is what it means when it means to have a player like him. So you had Tyron Thompson on the left, you had Tyler Fletcher on the right, no, Jack Fletcher on the right, and then you also had what's his name? Kobe. No, not Kobe. You also had Mateusz Cunha. Sorry, my brain just shut down for a bit because I saw something. Mateusz Cunha playing as a striker. So you have a variety of talent that can play multiple positions. Now, bringing back Marcus Rashford and integrating him into the squad actually changes the dynamic of the team when it comes to who is playing as a striker. So it will now most likely be Cunha, Šeško, Mbeumo, Zirkzee, 4 strikers. Then on the left, you will now have Rashford, Cunha, Dogu and Tyron Thompson. Then on the right, you have Ahmad, Mbeumo, and most likely, I think no one else in that one. Shirley. So that's 3 on this side, 3 on that side, and in the striking position, 3 on that side. 4 in the striking position. And those 4, 3 out of the 4 can actually play in the 10 as they play as striker. So it gives us a different dynamic to the team. And that's why I say we need to focus on building that midfield. Unless we want to keep Toby Collier to be an understudy to maybe Yuri Tillemans or something. And then you also have the Bruno factor as well, which would mean that with Bruno being in the squad, Cunha can also play in the 10, Zirkzee can play in the 10, and that could give Bruno a rest, especially in cup games. And then when you need firepower, you can bring on Bruno again. Yeah, I think the forward line is just, or the attack line is just, shaping up. But the mid is where we're lacking because, yes, quite right, Kumino hasn't touched the ball and all of that. And I'm guessing he might not even start the season with the team. But the others would, like Andre Santos and Yuri Tillemans, will kind of set the pace and set the game running and all of that. Mason Mount is injured now, so maybe he might be able to feature against AC Milan. So it'll be quite interesting to see how Man United play against AC Milan in this one, because it will be unique, basically, because it's the last game of preseason. And in that last game, you want to be seeing the team line up properly. So, yeah, we'll observe. I mean, for real, we'll observe, and I would like to know what Michael Carrick is thinking. I'd like to know how he's going to approach this game and all that. But yeah, Manchester United played a 1-1 draw. Goals by Joshua Zirkzee with an assist from Bryan Mbeumo. And then Aaronson scores for Leeds. And then United played well. So now, just to wrap things up, or should I say, well, not wrap things up. Let's look at quickly, let's do a data debrief. Now, Zirkzee's career at Old Trafford had failed to take flight since basically joining Man United from Bologna 2 years ago, managing just 12 goal contributions, 9 goals and 3 assists across 75 appearances across all competitions. But he was one of United's Michael Carrick's stand-up player in this game. He finished the team high with a team high totals for shots. So he had more shots, which is 3. That was that one shot that was crossed in with force by Dalot, and he hit it one time and it was saved by the keeper, James Trafford. Then he had touches, the most touches in the opposition box, 5, and only Amad Diallo had created more chances than Joshua Zirkzee. Amad created 3, Joshua Zirkzee created 2. He proved effective when dropping deep and playing in the attacking midfield role as well as in the striking role, because him and Mbeumo were switching. So, another thing I noticed as well is that Man United switched to a 4-4-2 at some point, and it was Zirkzee and Mbeumo at some point. It was Ahmad and Zirkzee, it was Ahmad and Mbeumo. It was just a very good combination up top. And then as well, they were pressing together with triggers being Patrick Dogo and Ahmad as well. With Bryan Mbeumo still out injured, Zirkzee is still here, still has work to do, securing regular first team football, especially a first team spot ahead of the likes of Mbeumo and Mateusz Cunha. But his performances here did his chances no harm of giving Carrick a headache ahead of United's final match of preseason. Leeds will also feel that they could have won the game in normal time. United finished with an expected goals of a total of 1.17 from their 15 shots to Leeds' tally of 2.02 from their 13 attempts. So it was good to see that Man United actually came out on top in this one while winning the Boyle Sport Cup, and that is pretty much two trophies in preseason, two preseason trophies. But it is what it is. I'm not getting overly excited. I'm just kind of looking for something, and I think I saw some of it today, and I was particularly impressed. Now, another thing again I wanted to say before I go into the stats and we wrap things up after I've just, gone through everything, is that it was kind of like a game of two halves. The first teamers were more free flowing and more adaptable to being without possession and still doing something when they get possession. The second half team, especially those that came from 60th minute, you could tell that they were a bit rusty. You could tell that they were a bit outrun a little bit, not like they were outrun like for a whole lot. And you could tell that there was a whole lot going on with regards to them building momentum ahead of the season. But credit to them, they held their fourth, and it was a good mixture of academy graduates and first teamers. And in the first half, it was also a good mixture of academy graduates and first teamers. So now over to the stats. Manchester United finished with a 59% ball possession to 41% for Leeds, 15 shots to 13 for Leeds, 4 shots on target to 5 for Leeds, 28 touches in the opposition box to 18 for Leeds, one big chance created for United to Leeds' 2. Then you also had 0 big chances missed to Leeds' 1. Leeds missed 1 big chance. And then Man United had more accurate passing with 528, 90%, to Leeds' 357, 86%. Fouls committed, Man United 12, Leeds 7. Man United had 1 offside, and that was that Bruno one that he scored, and then it was tagged as an offside goal. Corners, 8 for United, 0 for Leeds. Yeah, and we didn't make any good use of any corner. Maybe, I think at some point in those corners, things were a bit overhit and stuff like that. Total passes in the game, 585, and passes completed 528, 90%. Passes in our own half, 242. Passes in the opposition half, 286. Better than Leeds with 226 and 131 respectively. So I'm particularly impressed. Top performer, Zirkzee, Bryan Mbeumo, and then Dan James on the Leeds' side. Chances created, Amad Diallo, Zirkzee, and then total shots, Amad Diallo 3, Zirkzee 3, Bruno Fernandes 3, even in that short 20 minutes that he played. Pass success, Leniero had 66, 90%. Tyler Fletcher had 55, 96%. Absolutely amazing for Tyler Fletcher. Then successful dribbles. Even in the 20 minutes that he played, Toby Collier had 2 successful dribbles, 100%. Noussair Mazraoui had 2 successful dribbles, 100%. And then obviously tackles won. Ayamas had the most tackles won with 2, 67%. And then touches, Leniero had the most touches, 89 touches, while Tyler Fletcher had 65 touches. So it was pretty good for these players. Ahmad, Zirkzee, Tyler Fletcher, Leniero. I'm particularly impressed. But Tyler Fletcher is quite a mature guy. And all of that. Anyway, what do you guys think about the game? I feel like Man United have kind of moved up to the next level as well in preparation for the grow season that is coming. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. What do you think Man United could have done better? We will do what we learned. 3 things we learned from the game in the next video. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to all things Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye. And God bless your heart.